You're saying that agribusiness is even a bigger enemy than
It
the original
is.
landowners, but because what you're saying is what if people aren't there farming the land, then agribusiness will come along and establish monocultures.
Right, right.
Okay. Okay.
Exact. That's what I said.
The
Right,
the
right.
original landowners will sell the land to big agriculture
Or lease.
or
They
lease.
Or
probably,
to lease. I mean,
Yes.
the
most
sharecroppers
often,
that
they
you were
probably
talking
just
about
lease it
before.
to
Lease the
these
land.
guys.
And then they can do whatever they want with it.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Right. Well, the situation is also true that the more the agribusiness took over, and the more that this model of agro-exporting, which has been part of Brazilian history for centuries now,
Use that word again so that we
agro-exporting.
uh-huh.
So it's basically monoculture, sugarcane particularly, and before sugarcane there was coffee. Brazil has had a whole history of monoculture, with different crops being used.
Thank you.
Sorry, in different moments of history to export, and that's how in fact, that's how the country would pay for the loans that we have gotten from the FME, IMF. And I was saying
I
the
know
word in
the
Portuguese.
Brazilian.
That can be hard sometimes to remember which.
But so these settlements that are created on this unused land,
Uh-huh.
are they pretty self-sustaining? Obviously, they're not monoculture. Are they at all green? I mean, can you just sort of describe for us do they have an approach that's maybe a little non-traditional, or is it very traditional?
Our approach from the very beginning, from the encampments, is to really work cooperatively and collaboratively. Each settlement, beginning with the encampment, I should talk first about the encampment. Each encampment gets organized into nuclei of families. So let's say 10 families organize themselves into a nucleus. And you have these different groups within the encampment taking care of whatever infrastructure is possible to build, or taking care of the water, the food, the children. The first thing that is built on an encampment and on a settlement is a school, because we feel very important, with the issue of education for the kids. Because if they are camping with us, we want to make sure that they continue to get educated. They continue to have a school available for them. So when they do get to the settlement, the families already have this mentality of organizing themselves collaboratively. I forget how much the government gives now to each settler when they are placed in the land. But there is an amount of money that the government gives to the settler, so they can begin to build their houses, because the land most of the time is empty. So it will begin to buy seeds, maybe to buy a tractor. But this is all. I mean, the way that the movement likes to see is that people do that again, cooperatively in collaboration with each other, these families. It doesn't always happen that way, but that's the way that the movement prefers. And that takes an entire work of organizing people, because the mentality of people is mostly working for themselves. So it takes a lot of work to
You know,
continue to organizing them.
thank you for making that explanation. Maristela Zell is a professor at Governor State University and a founder and member of Friends of the MST in U.S. What is this tour? You have two guests that are not on mic right now because they speak Portuguese, Brazilian, and we have all this equipment on stage. Anyway, what does this tour of the U.S. mean for your guests, and what does it mean for the movement? I know we hosted an event this week, which was beautiful, and the music was incredible. What are you doing? How are you hooking up with other groups like that?
Right, and just to put in context, it is very important for us that we unite the social movements in the South and in the North, because the issues that we face with agribusiness in Brazil are no different than the issues that we face with agribusiness in this country. A lot of small farmers are being displaced, and in this country too, to give space to plant soy, corn, now also for fuel. So we feel that we have to organize the social movements in a way that they develop closer bonds, so we can be more effective in our struggle. So from time to time, I'll say maybe twice or three times a year, we, the Friends of the MST, brings leaders from the movement from the MST in Brazil here to the U.S.
Yes.
to tour the U.S. And these guests that you just mentioned, they came first to it was a conference in Brooklyn called Food Sovereignty Conference, and it was one day conference.
Say the name of that conference again. I think it got missed.
I think it was called the Brooklyn Food Sovereignty Conference.
Okay.
Okay.
Sufficiency?
No, sovereignty. Yeah.
Survive. Okay.
Yeah. I might be pronouncing it not too clearly at this point, but and this was on April 3rd. It was just one day, and we had several community organizations, urban and rural, that work are concerned with food security and community sustainability. So, and with the event that we had here at the Heartland Cafe on Thursday was basically to raise funds for our university. I don't think we talked about that, but we do have a university that we built in 2005. It's called the Escola Nacional Florestan Fernandes.
Where is that located?
It's in São Paulo. In the biggest city in Brazil, and basically we educate activists throughout Latin America in that school.
It's an activist university?
Yes, it's a university. Yes, it's an activist university, exactly.
Sort of to counter of the Americas, where we go train.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I like that idea.
Well, I mean, basically we do a lot of training, the political education. But not only that, I mean, we have also other, we have a early education program. We have an early education program. We have some also other technical programs, related to agriculture and to work the land. We have medicinal herbal program too that teaches people
Very
how
cool.
to use, local herbs to treat, health problems. So there's a lot of other programs, but one of them is the training.
We don't have much time left, I'm so sorry to say, Maristela, because we have such a full show, but you did mention that some of what this tour means is also the effect that visiting the U.S. has on your visitors, the activists from Brazil. Maybe just say something about what they are surprised about coming here.
Sure. Well, in Brazil, the image that we have of the U.S. is, and maybe in the whole world, is not a really good one.
The pride.
We never think about resistance, and social justice when we don't associate those words with the U.S. So when my guests is coming here and they visit organic farmers, and they visit people who are working with social justice issues, they come to a place like this and see that there is a large community concerned with social justice issues, with community sustainability, with good food. So then they really get very surprised, and I think it's very good to create more closer bonds between the social justice movements there and the social justice movements here.
Very nice. What's the next step for this, and how do people get more information?
Well, you can visit our website, www.mstbrazil.org. So that's one way to get more information about us. Again, we do have the Friends of the MST here in Chicago and in other parts of the country, but our chapter is here in Chicago, and you also could get information on the website about us.
Maristela, thank you very much for coming today. We've enjoyed hearing about the movement and what you all are doing to raise funds and support that.